The chapel. It contemplates the monumentality of the chapel built in 1929 from plans of the Belgian architect Augustin Gouvaerts. It is the building with the greatest architectural value and autonomous presence in the cemetery, presiding over the San Pedro patio and completing the main street that dominates the development of this complex. Respond to the sound of the bells that invite you to enter this venue. Appreciate the paintings, reliefs, stained glass, wood carvings, and enjoy the musical notes played on the pipe organ. In 1847, the first chapel was built, almost 2 years after the bells were received from Europe. At that time, the official blessing was received and religious celebrations began. In 1871, the first reforms were made in the chapel, trying to solve structural problems of its construction. In 1896, restoration work began again in the chapel. While this progressed, the religious acts were moved to a kiosk located in the centre of the central patio. The current chapel of the cemetery was built in the 1920s and 1930s under the design of architect Augustin Gouvaerts. It was modified in 1954 to add the stained glass windows that were made with designs by Maestro Rafael Sáenz Moreno. Its spatial components are the dome, located above the space for the choir, an altar in which the organ is included, and wide access doors to the central nave. The complex presents a sober, austere, and solemn disposition. Taking into account these qualities and the quality of the works made by the Belgian Augustin Gouvaerts, the chapel can be considered as one of the most valuable elements of the cemetery, which is why it is included in the Declaration of Cultural Interest. Continue your visit by going to the next station, called From the Tombstone to the Canvas, Craftsman's Workshops. You will find very close to the chapel in Gallery 54 of San Pedro, in front of the tombstone of Cipriano Isasa.